Thanks for staying with us again. Merry Christmas, everybody. We're joined by Ken Rahjes, our friend from magview.net. Ken, it's Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Thank you. We've been doing this a long time. We've been together doing segments off and on for the last almost 4 years.
Right.
So can you believe that?
Right.
Gosh, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a new administration sworn in federally. Republicans will control the House and the Senate. We'll get a new someone on the Supreme Court. Got a lot of things going on the national level, but on the state level as well.
There is, and so we'll put my other hat on, that being a state legislator, and we do have there's a lot of excitement going on, a lot of changes happening. Some maybe aren't as excited as others, but overall our challenges are very daunting, not only the federal but as well as the state level. But a bunch of new legislators in Topeka, and so I'm hoping that we get right to it and get under the list, which is long, of things we need to do.
One of the main lists being revenue shortfall.
Well, I think that's going to be the biggest thing, and the underlying theme of this session is whether you want to call it revenue enhancement, taxes, whatever. That's going to be the biggest talk, and trying to gain things to make up for our budget deficit. We all know that we're really kind of behind the eight ball a little bit. Agriculture, oil and gas, aviation are all still trying to get going, and so the challenges are great, and there's a number of plans out there, and we'll see which one sticks, which one can get the most support, and then we'll go from there.
Now, as you were talking to your constituents coming into the fall election and getting ready to go into the new year, were they ready to pay taxes? And by no means did we fault Governor Brown back. I think it was an excellent try, but I mean, tax revenue's just fallen short. I mean, are your constituents, they understand the situation we're in, and they're going to have to pay a little bit this year? I mean,
well, I think many of mine that I've talked to say we need to get this fixed. I'm not necessarily one to say, give me the first plan that's out there to raise taxes and this will solve things. It's a complicated process. The other thing is, this didn't happen overnight. It's going to be a long-term fix. So I guess my hope, and maybe the plan is to do little fixes as we go. I think if you had a big jolt, that would hurt the economy. Even more, as far as there's so much uncertainty, and it starts from the federal level and works its way down. And I'm not necessarily one to blame the federal government for all our ills. Other states have the same deal when it comes to federal government as we do. But it's obvious that, with my standpoint, from where agriculture is, it wasn't that many years ago we were record farm income prices, and now we're dangling close to where we were in that farm situation in the 80s. And so there's going to be some hard conversations, some hard votes, and that's just the way it is. The people will have to decide, are we in this together, or are we going to turn around and say, well, so-and-so raised my taxes, they're out of here, because eventually something is going to have to happen. We're going to continue to have to look at doing something different with revenues and or spending or something, and we'll work on it. It's not going to be easy, though.
Right, exactly. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with our friend Ken Rahjes from magview.net. We're at your kansasAGreport, and we'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're joined by Ken Rahjes, our friend who comes on several times throughout the year, and you kind of give us a legislative update. And first of all, Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you and yours. So what a great time of the year.
Exactly. Ken, we're about 3 weeks away from having a new administration federally. We'll have a new president, House, Congress, and everything will be controlled by the Republicans. It could be really good, could be really bad, but let's talk about the state. We've got a whole bunch of new legislators coming into Topeka. Good or bad?
Oh, I think it's always a great opportunity when you have new faces, brings new ideas. It was a couple of years ago we had over 50 new legislators, and so we're almost at that mark. I don't know exactly for sure exactly. I haven't really done the math. We've been getting ready for the session, so haven't done exactly for sure how many new ones. But we definitely will be a lot of shifting of the seats on the floor, a lot of moving around probably on where they're going to be, have their offices in Topeka, and then all that pomp and circumstance and getting sworn in. Then we actually get to work, and so. Of course, the list is long of things that people want to try to see done, but really I think we have 2 or 3 things that really will focus on this session.
Education and revenue, would those be the top 2?
I think you're right. I think as we look at all the different things that people have come up to me and said, can we work on this, can we work on that, can we work on that, this is what I tell them. We have really 2 things. The first thing, which is the bottom line, will be the bottom line, which is where we are with revenue coming into the state of Kansas. And the other thing, of course, that walks hand in hand to that is over half the budget is with education. And so once we get one figured out, we'll go to the other one. You know, we have things like a school finance formula that needs to get done, and we should have worked on it last year. It didn't get done. Well, okay, we're in a new year. Let's get on to that, and then we can work on a bunch of other things that maybe we want to do, but until we really have signs of a stronger and strengthening economy, we need to be very cautious.
Do you think the education mandate, has hurt the state or helped the state?
As far as
having to fund, I mean,
sure,
we've got a certain level of funding we have to meet here in the state of Kansas, and it was done basically through the court system.
Well, I think, at least the time we're talking about, they're still waiting for the court to decide exactly for sure where we're going to be. It does create some challenges, absolutely. Right. I mean, but regardless, we want to make sure we have a good quality education for every student, whether they be in the East or in the West, from the largest schools to the smallest schools. And so there are some challenges, and I know I use that word a lot, but that's really the truth of where we are.